Okay, we'll start with the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Roll call, please.
Corbin,
Here.
Zupan,
Here.
Vosberg,
Here.
Jones,
Here.
Walrod,
Here.
Schwartz,
Here.
Wynn,
Here.
Kennard,
Here.
During, here, Reuter,
Here.
Cunningham,
Here.
Stupansky,
Here.
Becker,
Here.
Kavanaugh, here, Roberts,
Here.
Haley is absent, and Du Bois. Here. 1,318 votes present.
Okay, approval of our minutes from a previous meeting. Motion by Mr. Vosberg, second. Second by Mr. Reuter. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Carried. Okay, communications reports of committees.
Yep, we received the Madison County Occupancy Tax Receipts and Expenditures Quarterly Report for July 1st through September 30th.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. 11, you want me to do the public hearings?
Yeah, let's do the public hearing.
Okay, all right, we have our public hearing for 2023 for Quazalone Watershed District. I need a motion to open the public hearing, please. Motion by Mr. Zupan, second by Ms. Kavanaugh. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Carried. Is there anybody here to speak for or against the Quazalone Creek Watershed District budget? Okay, seeing none, motion to close. Motion by Mr. Reuter, second by Mr. Bernard. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Carried. Okay, might as well do a couple of.
I don't know if we can get over them updated.
You can do that one while we're waiting for the other public hearing, yeah.
All right, we're gonna move forward with the unfinished business, the tabled resolution number 22-526, authorizing the establishment and operation of an advanced life support transporting service within Madison County. This was tabled by Supervisor Cunningham, seconded by Supervisor Bernard at our last meeting.
Okay, is there any other discussion on this? Mr. Cunningham?
Thank you, Chairman. I think overall the concept makes a lot of sense, and I'm a big believer in shared services and getting together as Pete said, as a group and from a county standpoint, making this happen. EMS providers function on capped below cost reimbursements of Medicare and Medicaid and HMOs under the Affordable Care Act. Because of this, large numbers of volunteer EMS providers have succumbed to fiscal pressure. The list is large and it's growing every day, and soon to be in a town near you. Fee-for-service providers serve 21 of 25 of the largest cities in New York State. Not long ago, the largest EMS provider in New York City, TransCare, closed their doors, as did the largest national provider. It's very clear our county residents need and demand this service. It is not clear how the county would manage dysfunctional funding. if mega companies are going out of business and going bankrupt, how can the county begin to even survive under this environment without substantial help from our residents? So all I ask is that the chairman form a committee to go over the details. Pete, you said that the details aren't conclusive. I don't see any cost. I think we're going down a road or a path that is going to jump off a cliff like all of these big companies have been jumping off this cliff. We need to know as supervisors where we're going with this thing. This is a big deal. That's going to cost the city of Oneida funds that they're not paying through vinyl now. I just ask that we consider this in a committee form before we make this very important decision and go down this road where so many big companies have gone down and failed. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, thank you. I think we have formed a committee, the Public Safety Committee, and they've been working on it for 7 years now. And I believe it was you, Jim, that said we better move and do something instead of quit talking about it. Correct?
Well, if everybody around here's got all the answers and can answer all those questions, then fine. But I think there's a lot more things to be answered. I don't know how this financially, how are you going to pay for the fly cars when the ARPA money's gone? How are you going to pay for this when the ARPA money's gone? I mean, we're going to pick up the burden because it's dysfunctional funding,
Well, you're
the way
gonna
the
pay,
state's set up.
you're gonna pay. You're gonna pay like I do in Sullivan, or like Evan is in Hamilton, or some of the other towns, and you're just gonna keep paying if you want that service.
Jim,
Or you're gonna tell them, you're on your own and you're out of business. That's the way it goes. Because there is no other funding streams.
Well, I completely get it, Chairman, but I just think we need the devil's in the details, and I think we need to work through those details. I mean, there's been a lot of meetings with various people, but we haven't all the supervisors here haven't been to those meetings. And I just don't think it's fair to make a decision of this magnitude based on parts and pieces that we hear. I mean, I'm totally with this. I just would like to answer a few questions so I understand the financial side of it, how this umbrella works. You know, how does it affect Oneida? How does it affect, all of you? You know, prices are going to go up. And
Yeah.
prices on everything's going up right now. So
Jim, the Public
you.
Safety Committee is open to anyone, any supervisor can attend if we have those meetings. There's individual meetings, we can post those. I think the answer in essence is in your question and in your statement. Those big companies that went out, those services are still in need. I'm quite sure, I would willing to bet that those taxpayers are picking up cost of those services now. That when they fell apart, somebody's going to pay for those. And I'm assuming they're taxpayers. If it isn't a private company that can pick up those any longer and they failed because of that finances, then that fell on the burden of the taxpayers. So I think that's a realization that we have and we need to accept right now. That we cannot change those Medicare and Medicaid rates. They haven't been changed in years. They should have been. It's going to fall to somebody. The fact that if there's a hatred of big government or the cost of it, yes, we don't have every dollar, but the burden is going to fall to the taxpayers. That's not a revelation. That's something we need to accept, and that is us. And if we're pushing this down the road because of the cost, because of the details that we don't know, that it's still going to glare at us at some point. It's only going to be uglier at that point than it is today. And it's going to fall on individual towns at some point if the county doesn't step up and take it. But those private companies, when they fail, that burden, I bet, is falling on the taxpayers.
I agree with you, Pete, to some extent, but I just want details. That's all. I'm asking for details. We're making a big decision and it's going to impact a lot of people in this county.
I think I've got a paper right here that has details. It's got a budget mod right here today.
Tell me what Nelson's going to pay. Tell me what Casanova is going to pay. Is that in your details?
No, I don't have those details right there. This is out of the ARPA funding right here today.
Well, ARPA's going away, Pete.
Obviously, it's going away, and it's going away. And what's Greg Reuter going to do when his ARPA funding that paid for Madison picked up his cost of that tab? What's it going to happen next year in Madison?
Well, good question. And that's why we need to discuss this.
Yeah, well, the funding, no matter what is that funding source going to be then? Taxpayers' money,
It's
correct?
probably going to be taxpayers' money unless Rhonda's plan to squeeze the state to do the right thing
Well,
happens, but it's
that won't
doubtful
happen.
it'll happen.
That won't
Exactly.
happen.
Right. I just want to know what the magnitude is. Are our taxes going up 2%, 1%, 0.5%? I don't know.
Well, it could be sales tax. We don't even know that mechanism at this point, Jim.
I get it,
So
but
you-
shouldn't we
so-
know?
But what I'm asking though, is, are we gonna hold, this is the bottom line right here, a countywide CON, there is no reference to cost on a countywide CON, none.
Well, shouldn't there be?
Why? There's no cost to the community to move forward a countywide CON.
Well,
No
guys,
cost.
that's what the other resolution is, to
No,
start,
one
a-
at a time.
to
Let's
develop
not-
a plan
let's not
so we
act
can
like the
come up with a
chairman.
number.
And this is a concept.
Right,
Right,
that's
Bill?
that's what I'm saying. We're gonna come up with a concept and then we're gonna vote on the numbers.
So what?
But
I
if you don't have,
understand.
don't
There's-
start from.
There's
scratch.
nothing here with any, that has any dollar amount, any details.
Right,
And but there's also no need. There's no say talking about a purchase here or anything. This is both of these things are needed and neither one of this costs the county anything.
right. I agree with you. That's why I'm agreeing with you.
Yes, I got that. Thank you, Greg. Okay, Mr. Ball, I said I would call on you. You want to come up, talk?
Absolutely. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Darren Ball. I'm the EMS supervisor for the village of Madison. So to answer your question, what's Madison going to do? Prior to the proposal that you folks have in front of you, Madison was actually working on a consolidation plan itself between the village and town to apply for state monies. And there was a few other things that we had in the works. But again, that kind of put the brakes on the minute that, the resolution that you folks have been working on is before you. One of the things that I think is paramount is the fact that there's been very little transparency until recently. And I say that because I've heard Pete complain year after year that there's no participation from the EMS folks in the county meetings. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of history with that. And I've been able to identify that history to the current EM staff. And a lot of that's occurred long before they were here. But I'm just telling you, those of us that have been in this business for 35 plus years, we see it being cyclic, meaning that what happens is that those of us will go to the meeting and we'll have great discussions and then nothing ever occurs, nothing ever happens. I think the only reason why you saw the participation that you saw on Monday is because this was an approach that was accelerated well beyond what government typically takes. And I think it rose to the occasion of getting people's attention. Nobody wants to give up their territory, but I think every agency wants the ability to do good and to run themselves to the point of they make their own decisions. I've encouraged the municipality I'm employed to make their own decisions. Look at it from a financial perspective. Look at it from another perspective as efficiencies. Are we doing the right thing? Is this cost effective long-term? And I think that until recently, you haven't had the resolutions before you today. That yellow highlighted area on there, there's only one reason that appears in there. And that was the result of our meeting on Monday. I'm thankful for that being in there. The thing that concerns me is the second piece of this, that talks about the financial piece. That's the only reason why the group actually came to some level of agreement on Monday, was because we had some sort of an indication that the county was going to look at this as the whole picture. And each agency was going to be treated fairly and equitably, whatever formula you guys decide on, whether that be population or whether that be call volume. And I fully agree with Ms. Schwartz's comments in regards to those thresholds in the money giving that have to meet certain criteria. Very much in agreement with that. I am very concerned with this resolution moving forward in the expeditious manner that it has. And the reason for that is that I came before you about a month ago and I emphasized to you the need that we all have for staff. That's the prime problem. It is staffing. It is not hardware. It is not equipment. It is not ambulances. It is staff. That should be number one. I understand that those areas of the study were identified, but we haven't seen anything formally to identify which ones were good and which ones were bad. I think that piece of it needs to be done. I'm not saying this isn't a good idea. I'm just saying to you that I'm asking you to slow down because of the fact that I think that the numbers are being utilized. In my book, they don't make any sense. I've been doing this 35 years. And I can tell you already that the numbers that you're looking at to cover costs, they're not going to be there. Absolutely not. I worked for a billing company for 20 years in the EMS business, and I can tell you for sure that those numbers are not going to be a wash. Will there have to be municipal support? Absolutely. But at the same time, I'm concerned of the impacts that the program is going to have on the rest of the agencies. And I think that if you could just slow down for a few minutes, take a look at everything. If you want to form your committee to come up with some good ideas like what occurred on Monday, I think that's a fantastic idea. By no way am I saying that this is a bad idea. I'm just saying to you that I'm asking you to just slow down a little bit and get all the pieces of the puzzle before you start pulling the pin. Thank you.
Yeah, Darren, thank you. And I'll repeat the same thing I said the other day. I appreciate when you talked to us before, I appreciate the fact that government's moving too fast. That doesn't happen often. Thank you. I think we should take some credit for that. One thing, just want to make sure that came up in the Monday meeting we had, our Tuesday meeting we had here at the county, is that one of the proposals from the agencies that came out of that meeting that Darren and Bill had alluded to is that the funding from the county is not an addition to, it's a replacement of your towns. So when you ask me about a county tax, I can't speak to that. Maybe it would mirror what your people are taxed now, Jim, if that's at the same level. But if each of us are paying, contracting, whatever, where we are with our own agencies, that would be a replacement of, that would be funded, that would be streamed to those agencies, only coming out of a broader tax base. So it is, just want to make sure that everybody understands what we're talking about is not in addition to what you're currently paying. It would be a replacement of. And hopefully we'd meet some of the efficiencies that Supervisor Schwartz mentioned.
Okay, anybody else? Yep, Rex.
And Jim, maybe I misspoke, but to me, in my mind, this is the first step. This is a resolution to get our CON in order and to form this committee, which I'm sure everybody could be on it, maybe perhaps. I won't judge that, but it's a step moving towards figuring this financial piece out. And I put the EMS folks just like I do the deputy sheriffs. You call them, you want somebody to show up, and that's apparently is on a critical phase. They're saying it, the gentlemen are saying it from training, pay, whatever. They're having difficulties. We want to make this work as a group. I can't say that loud enough. My voting on these resolutions is to get the process started. Maybe it'll come down where we say, we just can't afford this. We can't do this. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think it's going to be a question of where the money goes and how we come up with it. And the bottom line, when it shakes out, we're going to have to figure out where we're going to get some money and where it's coming from and where it's going. That's going to be the two big questions moving forward. So my affirmation on these two resolutions is just to get this thing, we have to get started. The CEO of, and I'm sorry you're not in that committee meetings. We should come to them. I know everybody's busy. We had the CEO of Hamilton Hospital sitting right here next to me. He said, don't wait till spring. I urge you as a group or as a committee to don't wait till spring. There's things going on out there and we need some help immediately. So that's where I'm at.
Okay. All right. I believe this needs to be amended to what's in the yellow. So somebody has to make that amendment if we're going to move this thing forward.
I'll move the resolution as amended, Chairman.
Oh, you got to make an amendment. You got to move the amendment.
Move the
first.
amendment, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Move the amendment to the current
Okay, I've
resolution.
got a motion to amend, seconded by Mr. Vosberg. Moved by Mr. Walrod. Okay, on the amendment, all in favor signify by voting aye. Aye. Nobody opposed? Carried. Okay, on the motion is amended. Is there any discussion? Any other discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Carried.
Yeah, roll call, John.
Roll call.
Let people vote.
Do a roll call then, please.
Okay. Walrod,
Aye.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Wynn,
Yes.
Kennard,
Aye.
Euring,
Aye.
Reuter,
Aye.
Cunningham,
No.
Stepanski,
Yes.
Becker.
Aye.
Kavanaugh,
Aye.
Roberts,
Aye.
Maglioka is absent, Du Bois,
Aye.
Corbin,
No.
Zupan,
Yes.
Mossberg,
Yes.
Jones.
No.
We have 1,184 ayes, 316 noes.
Carried. Okay, next we have our public hearing for 2023 tentative county budget. I need a motion to open that public hearing. Motion by Mr. Bernard, seconded by Mr. Stepanski. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye. Anybody opposed? Carried. Okay, is there anybody here to speak for or against the proposed 2023 tentative county budget? Larkin, yes, ma'am, I got you down. So
Good morning, everyone. My name is Larkin Petzidlik. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the Executive Director for Cornell Cooperative Extension, Madison County. And I have here with me Lily Mills, who I'm going to let speak in just a few minutes. I always like to start with gratitude. So I want to thank you all for the opportunity to address you today and for your continued investment in Cornell Cooperative Extension. My grandfather was a town supervisor, so I know that you have a really hard job and you can't say yes to every request that you get at budget season. CCE Madison is a subordinate governmental agency that serves the agricultural community with educational programs and technical assistance that improve farmers' bottom lines, help them face rising challenges, preserve valuable farmland, and build community. We run programs, as you know, like Open Farm Day, Celebrate Madison, and Farm to School that increase purchasing of local food and open new market opportunities for farmers. Last year, CCE Madison's Ag and AED programs reached over 6,200 people and brought in over $1.3 million in economic impact for the agricultural community. And that's in a year where COVID still dampened our numbers for about half the year. CCE requested a 5.2% increase this year in order to retain the high quality staff that we have now to serve farmers with consistency and continuity. We're extremely grateful to have remained flat in the budget, so thank you for that. With inflation at 7% and flat county funding since 2019, that essentially amounts to a decrease for CCE Madison's core funding. Our staff are underpaid compared to jobs in industry and government, which really makes it difficult to retain them. Increased funding to CCE is not just supporting important community nonprofit work. An increased investment in CCE returns dividends to the county. Madison County receives a massive return on investment when considering the money that CCE brings into farmers through the tax return program that we do for seniors and other grants that fund our services and programs. We leverage the county appropriation into significant state and federal investments, and our state money increases as our county appropriation increases according to a formula. So it's really important that our county appropriation remains robust. So I'm here today with a couple of staff and board members, and on behalf of the rest of our staff, our board, volunteers, 4-H youth, and farmers, to ask that you find a way to provide an increase in funding to CCE in 2023, even if in the form of one-time funding, because I know that the budget is tight this year, as an investment in agriculture, rural quality of life, and our youth. Speaking of youth, CCE educates and empowers thousands of youth every year through 4-H and Ag in the Classroom, building a new generation of leaders. Youth in 4-H are twice as likely to make healthy decisions and 4 times as likely to give back to their community than non-4-Hers. So with me, I'm going to introduce Lily Mills, who's one of our outstanding 4-H youth members who has grown up in 4-H and is just going to tell you briefly about the impact that 4-H has had on her life.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lily Mills. I'm 16 years old and I've been in 4-H for 11 years. During my time in 4-H, I have done projects in dairy, sheep, sewing, gardening, environmental, and public presentations. 4-H has taught me a lifetime of skills that I would not have learned in school or the many other organizations that I'm a part of. The leadership skills I've acquired from 4-H has opened doors for me. For example, I have had the opportunity to be a member of the Figure Skating Club in New York Junior Board. I have been able to meet people and promote agriculture to many different communities, including the many people I interact with in the skating community. My communication and public presentation skills have helped me through these experiences. In addition, some of the life skills I've learned are patience when working with animals, sewing and quilting, which is kind of a lost art, as well as how to grow and preserve my own food. I also have appreciation for the environment, from bird watching and making maple syrup. These are just some of the many examples 4-H has done for me as a person, skater, and community member. I would like to thank the Board of Supervisors for your continued support for the Cornell Cooperative Extension and the 4-H program. Your continued support will help the youth program in Madison County develop the necessary life skills I've enjoyed learning through 4-H. Thank you and have a nice day.
Okay, thank you. Hey, is there anybody else here to speak for or against the tentative county budget? Okay, if not, I need a motion to close the public hearing. Motion by Mr. Vosberg, seconded by Mr. Roberts. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Carried. Okay, next we have our public hearing on the Clockville Water District budget. I need a motion to open that public hearing, please. Motion by Mr. Reuter, seconded by Ms. Schwartz. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Carried. Is there anybody here to speak for or against the Clockville Water District budget? Okay, seeing none, I need a motion to close the public hearing. Motion by Ms. Kavanaugh, seconded by Mr. Stepanski. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Carried. Okay.
Okay, moving forward with Government Operations Committee's preferred agenda. Resolution 1 is authorizing attendance in an out-of-state conference for NACO for our Public Information Officer. Resolution number 2 is creating an assigned counsel attorney in the Office of Assigned Counsel. Resolution number 3 is modifying the 2022 adopted county budget for ARPA funds with county buildings. This is Mary Kavanaugh, Chairwoman, Government Operations Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move these resolutions for adoption.
Resolution's been made. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Vosberg. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Wynn,
Yes.
Kennard,
Aye.
During,
Aye.
Reuter,
Aye.
Cunningham,
Aye.
Stepanski,
Yes.
Becker.
Aye.
Kavanaugh,
Aye.
Roberts,
Aye.
DuBois,
Aye.
Corbin,
Yes.
Zupan,
Yes.
Vosberg,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Walron.
Aye.
1,318 votes.
Carried.
Moving forward with regular agenda resolutions, resolution number 4 is authorizing the cancellation of the 2022 county, town, and special district taxes and 2021-2022 re-levied Casanova school taxes. Matt Roberts, Chairman, Finance, Ways and Means Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution for adoption.
Resolution's been made. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Bernard. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Wynn.
Yes.
Kennard,
Aye.
During,
Aye.
Reuter,
Aye.
Cunningham,
Aye.
Stepanski,
Yes.
Becker,
No.
Kavanaugh,
Aye.
Roberts,
Aye.
DuBois,
Aye.
Corbin,
Yes.
Zupan,
Yes.
Vosberg,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Walron, Schwartz.
Yes.
1,030 votes in favor.
Carried.
Resolution number 5 is modifying the 2023 tentative county budget for the Clockville Water District. This is Matt Roberts, Chairman, Finance, Ways and Means.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution for adoption.
Resolution's been made. Second. Second by Ms. Kavanaugh. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bernard,
Aye.
During. Aye. Reuter,
Aye.
Cunningham.
Aye.
Stupanski,
Yes.
Becker.
Aye.
Kavanaugh. Roberts.
Aye.
Du Bois,
Aye.
Corbin,
Yes.
Zupan,
Yes.
Vosberg,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Walrod,
Aye.
Schwartz.
Yes.
Win. 1,318 votes in favor.
Carried.
Resolution number 6 is authorizing the chairman to amend an agreement with Chittenango Central School District. This is Alex Stupanski, Chairman, Health and Human Services.
Mr. Chairman, I move the adoption of this resolution.
Resolution has been made, seconded by Ms. Du Bois. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 7, authorizing the chairman to amend the agreement with Cazenovia Central School District. This is Alex Stupanski, Chairman, Health and Human Services Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move the adoption of this resolution.
Resolution has been made. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Du Bois. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 8, authorizing the chairman to enter into an agreement with Abraham Massara, nurse practitioner. This is Pete Walrod, Chairman, Criminal Justice Public Safety Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution for adoption.
Resolution's been made. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Vosberg. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Carried.
Resolution number 9, authorizing the chairman to sign a grant disbursement agreement with the Dormitory Authority of New York State for Delphi Falls County Park Project. This be Rhonda Wynn, member of the Planning Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution for adoption.
Resolution's been made. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Roberts. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Carried. These two, are correct?
Okay.
Well, we've got one from planning, correct? Okay, did that get distributed to everybody?
Yep, that was.
Okay, all right, and these two are not part of the packet.
They're not part of the packet.
Okay.
They're just subject to the whole, but everybody has a copy on their desk. Yes.
Okay, so Matthew Weber, is he out there? Would you like to speak? CCE support, you're all set? Okay, all right. Anybody else have anything? Okay, we're going to recess till next week, right? Weekend.
Do you want the action on these two? These are the two that were discussed
That's what I
and,
just asked.
yeah, do you want me to move forward with them, right?
Well, Mary and Walrod are the two. So we're moving forward with the modification of 2022 adopted budget, which is Matt and Mary, and then yours is acknowledging your request of financial support for EMS agencies.
This was in conjunction with the CO1 request. So, on this resolution.
You got to move this though.
Yeah,
You're gonna have
yeah.
to move this. So are you moving this
Yeah,
one?
I'd like to make a motion to move this resolution, Chairman, for
Okay.
adoption.
Seconded by, motion's been made by Mr. Walrod, seconded by Mr. Zupan. This acknowledging the request of financial support for EMS agencies and committing to develop a plan therefore.
Correct.
So, with that, is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, so this strictly says we're going to research it and come up with a plan? Or does it say that we're taking the responsibility away from the towns and moving it to the county?
Pete,
Third, whereas that the working group believes this change will provide equity throughout the county system. And it also says that, excuse me, that a working group is committed to working with the county of Madison to further develop details of a county-based funding plan to include criteria for disbursement of funds. So this is a resolution that we are committing to working with the County of Madison with the agencies to develop a criteria.
And what does the second whereas say, Pete?
Says a working group comprised of leaders from Madison County EMS agencies and Madison County Emergency Management staff have requested migrating financial support away from the town and village budgets. That's what we spoke about earlier. Dan read this previously, and instead receive financial support from the county. And that's what we alluded to. That was talked about in the previous meeting. That is one of the requests from the agencies. This was brought forth. This is what Darren had spoke about and Bill, that agencies would like to have this go along in conjunction with the CON that we had previously passed. That we would work together to come up with a funding mechanism through the county instead of their individual towns. And again, not in addition to, but a replacement of.
Bill, you got usually, yep.
The second to last paragraph says we're gonna consider financial support from the towns and villages and support from the county, replacing the support that the towns and the villages now give and replacing it with county funds.
Right.
And whatever would be decided would come back to this board for a vote from this
Yeah.
board.
Yeah, this, exactly. Everything that we're talked about, all the concerns and every financial detail would obviously be approved by this board before any allocation. So all the concern, and I understand we can't give you everything today, but those of us that attended the initial meeting that really spurred this conversation was on the model of Livingston County, if you recall. And that was a 10-year, we were looking at a 10-year plan at that point. So there's a lot of unknowns, there's a lot of building, there's a lot of evolvement from this day forward. Not every detail and every dollar amount will be known. I understand the need for that is county leaders and county, responsible back to our taxpayers. But as far as this resolution goes, this is a commitment to work with those agencies, requested by those agencies and fulfilled, that we will work together and come up with try to develop a funding plan.
That funding plan is going to come back to this board to be voted on.
Absolutely.
Okay, any other questions?
And that the agencies, obviously, just as we have worked through our budgets for 2023, this funding plan would be impacted in the 2024 year.
Okay, any other questions, comments? All in favor signify by voting aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Carried. You can do that one if you like.
We have another resolution that was discussed, authorizing the modification of the 2022 adopted county budget for ARPA funds. This would be Mary Kavanaugh, Chairman of Government Operations Committee, co-signed by Matt Roberts, Chairman of Finance, Ways and Means Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution for adoption.
Resolution has been made, seconded by Mr. Roberts. Is there any discussion? Yes, Evan.
Yeah, I keep looking at it, trying to make heads or tails of one part of it. So if anybody could speak to that. I see that we're changing the top line, the personal part-time services part-time, and reducing that, right? From 394,736 to 144,736. So related to that, our Social Security expense drops dramatically. But the state retirement stays the same. Just confused by that, I guess. This is just a financial question. And the same, well, and workers' comp. So could someone explain that to me and also clarify the ambulance line, the second line down, the 270, that is to purchase an ambulance. Is that correct? Okay, so.
Yeah, so I had been asked to decrease the personal services part-time by 250,000 and then apply the remainder to the fringe benefits. So I had the Social Security and Medicare expense line up, where it should at 7.65% of the personal services. And then I just prorated the remainder to come off of the retirement and the workers' comp expense, like just kind of to make the numbers work for the purpose
Okay.
of this. Knowing that this is all part of the funds that had been allocated for the EMS program kind of to begin with, and just at this point, just trying to reallocate some funds for the purchase of the ambulance, because we know it can take a length of time to, there's, of course, the whole purchasing process and then the wait times for things, so.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Waring,
Aye.
Reuter,
Aye.
Cunningham,
Aye.
Stefanski,
Yes.
Becker,
Aye.
Kavanaugh,
Aye.
Roberts.
Aye.
Du Bois,
Aye.
Corbin,
Yes.
Zupan,
Yes.
Mossberg,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Walrod,
Aye.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Win,
Yes.
Kennard.
Aye.
1,318 votes.
Carried. Okay, does anybody else have anything? Okay. Have a good Thanksgiving. We'll see you next meeting. Is that next week? Week after. That's what I said. Everybody have a good Thanksgiving, which is next week. No.
Well, I'm gonna watch video about this call. I'm curious about that. It's called.